With the Create mod now updated to 6.0, there's a whole bunch of new and exciting features to dive into. Things like the stock ticker, frog port, and more have been added to the game, and with those features come some incredibly useful tips and tricks to make your gameplay smoother and more efficient. Let's kick things off with something simple. Saving a schematic to your library is probably one of the easiest things to do. Whether you're in creative or survival, it is 2 button presses. Right click at the first position, and right click on the second position. I lied, it's 3. Right click to name it. So we'll name this, and then we'll rotate it, and we will just print it like so. Now that looked really easy, right? Well, yeah, that's how easy it is into creative. But things get a little trickier in survival, especially when you're working on something as complex as this. So without further ado, let's get into it. Traditionally, loading resources into a schematic cannon required dragging over chest after chest full of materials, painfully moving items from your main storage to the cannon. Tedious and time consuming, right? Well, thanks to the Create 6.0 update, there's now a much better way. If you want a full breakdown on how to build this simple modular storage system using these new things, then go check out the video I linked down below in the description or in the top right of the screen. I'll give you a second to pause and do that if you wanted to. Alright, so let's get into the setup. What do we need to set up a schematic cannon? Well, the schematic cannon itself is nice and easy. You just need a schematic cannon and some gunpowder, but we overlooked that. So you place down the schematic cannon, place the gunpowder inside of it, and you need a schematic and the schematic table. It doesn't need to be placed near it, you can just place it wherever you want, and we will do this one here. It takes a few seconds to load. The bigger the thing you're trying to build, the longer it takes. So I'm going to transition to survival, because otherwise it will just make me spawn it, and we will just do it like so. Now as you can see, we have the outline of what's being built, and then we just throw it in here. Now we'll get the material checklist out, and voila, we have all of the items we need. Now this is probably about a single chest's worth, and that is just for something as simple as that single part of the castle keep. You've got the schematic cannon, which, by the way, is really cheap and simple to build. 2 blocks of iron, 2 logs, 2 smooth stone, and a dispenser. You've got a schematic table, either you built it or you found it. 3 wooden slabs, 2 smooth stone, and the material checklist. Head over to your stock keeper system, and as you can see, mine's named Steve. Hi Steve. Nice hat. Right click on Steve normally, and you'll probably see a random mess of items. Nothing helpful for the schematic you're trying to build, and, you know, it's a little bit annoying having to search through a full system, especially when you've got ores, ingots, and 150 different types of blocks. So let's clean it up. As you remember, I grabbed my material checklist. By the way, it doesn't need to be this, it can also be a book. Does the same thing, but it has to be a normal book. A book and quill will not work. So let's right click on Steve. As you can see down here at the bottom, it has assigned all of the items that we need for this building. But how do we get it over there? Well, the very simplest way of doing this is using the current Create system. We will make this even quicker. So we're going to need a motor for powering the actual conveyor belt, and we're going to need another one here. Don't know why I broke that one can go there. We'll attach it with one of those, flip the direction, and then we are going to need a chest, just like so, and an andesite funnel there, and an andesite funnel here. Now, all of these things come together to do something really cool. So we'll go back over to Steve. Hi Steve, nice hat. We'll right click on Steve and hit send. Now all of these items are going to be exported, and if you remember the packager in between, all of them get unpackaged and put in the chest. And if we go over to the schematic cannon, right we are, and we're back to where we were. So I forgot that you have to actually have the inventory of what you're trying to do connected to it. So now that that's all fixed, we have our material checklist and we've right clicked on Steve. It's sent out all of the items that we need into the schematic cannon chest that's connected to it. Now we're going to just open the schematic cannon and hit play, and as you can see, it's firing off all of the items to build what we needed it to. This shouldn't take too long, and an interesting fact, one gunpowder lasts for over 1,000 shots. And I have 64, so I can do about 67,000 shots, and if you hover over this, you can see roughly how many you've got and how many you've got left after this one. Bye train. So yes, hopefully you found that interesting. If you did want to check out the previous video, feel free to go down into the description below and check it out. Failing that, if you did enjoy the video, hit thumbs up and subscribe for more content coming soon. I'm going to be doing another one going a bit further in depth into the storage system, about integrating it with trains and using the new post system to transport items over long distances. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace.